The story of the Black Vein Society often begins in shadows and whispers, wrapped in the kind of mystery that lingers in the corners of elite universities, ancient libraries, or forgotten corners of a decaying city. The protagonist, perhaps a brilliant but disillusioned student, a curious outsider, or an ambitious scholar, first encounters the society not through direct invitation, but through eerie traces, like footprints left in dust. There are rumors, of course, stories passed between students late at night, warnings from those who claim to know too much. Some say the society is a myth, a ghost story meant to scare the uninitiated. Others insist it's real, that its members walk among them, marked in ways only the perceptive can see. The name itself, the Black Vein Society, carries weight. It suggests something hidden beneath the surface, a dark current running beneath the skin of the world. The protagonist's first real brush with the society is often accidental, a book left open to an unsettling illustration, a stranger's knowing glance, or a series of coincidences too precise to ignore. They might find a symbol, a black vein-like sigil, carved into a desk or etched into the margins of an old manuscript. When they ask about it, they are met with silence, or worse, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. Then comes the mentor figure, someone who seems to know more than they should. A professor with a too sharp gaze, a librarian who slides forbidden texts across the counter, or a fellow student who speaks in riddles. This person doesn't reveal everything, but they plant the seed. There are things beyond what you've been taught, and if you're brave enough, you might learn them. The air is thick with anticipation, the sense that something is coming. The protagonist doesn't yet understand what they're stepping into, only that they can't turn away. The world around them seems to shift, ever so slightly, as if reality itself is a veil, and behind it, something waits. And then, the invitation arrives. Not in words, not at first. A note slipped into a coat pocket. A meeting place scrawled in the back of a borrowed book. A time, midnight. A location. Somewhere forgotten. Somewhere the ordinary world doesn't look. This is where the story truly begins. The invitation never comes plainly. Never in a way that could be explained away as mere coincidence. It arrives like a whisper in the dark, slipping into the protagonist's world with quiet precision, as if the society itself has been watching, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Perhaps it begins with a book left deliberately out of place in the library, its pages opening to an illustration of an intricate vein-like pattern, the same symbol the protagonist has glimpsed before in fleeting moments. Or maybe it's a note, slipped into their coat pocket by unseen hands, the paper thick and slightly rough to the touch, as if aged by time. The words are sparse, cryptic. Midnight. The old chapel. Knock 3 times and wait. No signature, no explanation, only the weight of intention behind it. There is no return address, no way to trace the sender, and yet the protagonist knows this is no prank. The air hums with something electric, something dangerous. The invitation is a test in itself. Will they dismiss it as nonsense, or will curiosity pull them deeper? If they choose to follow the trail, the world around them seems to shift subtly, as though the society is guiding their steps. A stranger in a cafe watches them a beat too long before disappearing. A street lamp flickers as they pass beneath it, casting elongated shadows that almost seem to move on their own. The closer they get to the meeting place, an abandoned chapel, a locked archive, a hidden alleyway, the more the ordinary world fades, replaced by something older, something secret. When they arrive, they find no grand assembly, no open door. Instead, there is silence, and then a presence. A figure steps from the shadows, face obscured, voice low and measured. "You were expected." The words are neither welcoming nor threatening, merely factual. The protagonist is led inside, through corridors that shouldn't exist, into rooms that feel both ancient and alive. And then, the final test. A single question, a choice, a drop of blood on an old parchment. The invitation was never just about arrival, it was about proving worth. The door closes behind them. There is no turning back now. The air inside the chamber is thick with the scent of burning wax and something older. Damp stone, iron, the faint metallic whisper of blood long since dried into cracks. The room is a cathedral of shadows, its edges lost in darkness, its center illuminated by the flickering glow of black candles arranged in a jagged spiral. The walls, if they can be called walls, seem to breathe, shifting ever so slightly like the ribs of some great slumbering beast. The protagonist stands at the threshold, flanked by robed figures whose faces remain hidden beneath deep hoods. No one speaks. The silence is a living thing, pressing in, measuring the weight of their fear, their resolve. Then, a voice, smooth, deliberate, cuts through the stillness. To walk the black vein is to step beyond the world you know. Hands guide them forward, not unkindly, but with an inevitability that leaves no room for hesitation. The floor beneath them is cold, uneven, carved with symbols that seem to writhe in the candlelight. At the center of the spiral lies a shallow basin, its surface dark and still. Blood is memory. Memory is truth. A blade is offered, not pressed into their palm, but laid before them, its edge catching the light like a smile. The choice, as it has always been, is theirs. To take it is to accept the covenant. To refuse is to wake as if from a dream, remembering nothing, but forever haunted by the sense of something lost. The cut is quick, almost painless. A single crimson drop falls, striking the surface of the basin with a sound like a distant bell. The liquid does not ripple. Instead, it spreads in twisting filaments, blackening as it moves, forming the same branching pattern they have seen before, the vein, the sigil, the mark of the society. Then, the visions. A rush of whispers, of faces not their own, of lives threaded together by something darker than fate. They see the past initiates, some triumphant, some broken. They see the price of knowledge, the cost of power. They see themselves reflected in a dozen fractured possibilities, each more terrible than the last. When it ends, they are on their knees, gasping, the taste of copper sharp on their tongue. The figures around them are closer now, their hoods thrown back. Their eyes are alight with something like hunger, like approval. "Welcome," the voice says again. And this time, it comes from all directions at once. From the walls, from the shadows, from the blood still humming in their veins. The ritual is complete. The door, if there ever was one, is gone. The air in the archives is thick with the scent of vellum and dust, the kind that settles into the lungs and lingers like a half-remembered dream. The protagonist is led to a recessed alcove, its walls lined with books bound in what might be leather or something else. The society member who guided them here, now unmasked, now revealed as a scholar with hollows beneath their eyes, places a single volume on the table between them. Its cover is unmarked, but when the protagonist runs a finger along the spine, they feel it. A raised, twisting line, like a vein beneath skin. "This is where we begin," the scholar says, and opens the book. The pages are not paper. They are thin, translucent, the color of old bruises, and they whisper against each other like dry leaves in a slow wind. The writing is not ink. It shifts as the protagonist stares, rearranging itself into words they can understand, then dissolving again, just as comprehension dawns. The first secret, the scholar murmurs, is that there are no secrets. A pause, a flicker of candlelight. Only choices. The protagonist leans closer. The words resolve again, and this time, they hold. The revelation is not what they expected. It is not a spell, a conspiracy, a formula for power. It is simpler. It is worse. Every member of the Black Vein Society has died. Not metaphorically, not in some grand, sacrificial rite. They have died, truly, irrevocably, and yet here they stand. The scholar watches the realization dawn, their expression unreadable. They say the first death is always an accident. They say. The ones after, those are deliberate. The protagonist looks down at their own hands. When did the light become so dim? When did their skin take on that pallor, that faint tracing of blue beneath the surface? They touch their wrist. No pulse. They inhale, sharp, but the air has no scent, no weight. How long has it been since they breathed and needed to? The scholar closes the book. Now you understand, they say. Now you see. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the windows in their frames. Somewhere, a clock strikes the hour, though the protagonist cannot remember if it is midnight or noon. Time, they realize, is the second secret. And it, too, is already slipping through their fingers. The realization settles like a stone in the gut, cold, undeniable. The protagonist has seen too much to feign ignorance now. The Black Vein Society does not deal in mere secrets. It trades in the unraveling of reality itself. And the deeper they go, the clearer it becomes. Knowledge is not power here. It is a slow, creeping possession. At first, they think it's a trick of the light, the way their reflection lingers a half-second too long after they turn away, the way its smile doesn't quite match their own. Then come the whispers, not from the shadows around them, but from the shadows inside them, murmuring in a voice almost like theirs, but warped, hungry. They try to pull away, to claw back some semblance of the person they were before the initiation, but the society does not let go so easily. A senior member, one they trusted, corner them in the library, their face a mask of false sympathy. You feel it, don't you? They murmur. The way it threads through you, the way it wants. They are brought to a chamber deep beneath the university where the air smells of damp earth and something sweetly rotten. In the center of the room lies a body. No, not a body. A shell. Pale, hollowed out, its veins standing stark and black against parchment skin. The face is familiar. It takes a moment to recognize it as their own. This is what happens, the senior member says, when you resist. The protagonist stumbles back, but hands seize their shoulders, holding them in place. A needle glints in the candlelight. The society's mark, the black vein, is not just a symbol. It is a covenant, a parasite. A second self coiled in their bones, waiting to hatch. The chamber is too small, the air too thick. The walls, if they are walls at all, pulse faintly, as though the room itself is alive, digesting them slowly. The protagonist's breath comes in ragged gasps, fingers pressing against their own wrists, searching for a pulse that hasn't beaten in days. Or has it been weeks? Time has turned syrupy, unreliable. The Black Vein Society watches. They stand in a loose circle, their faces half lit by the guttering candles, their eyes dark and depthless. Some wear expressions of pity, others something closer to hunger. The eldest among them, the one who first spoke the words of initiation, steps forward. You have seen the truth, they say. Now you must choose. A knife is placed on the stone between them, an old thing, its edge honed to a cruel sharpness, its hilt wrapped in blackened thread. Beside it, a goblet, tarnished silver, filled with something that moves sluggishly, like oil over water. To leave is to forget, the elder continues. To stay is to become. The protagonist knows the cost of forgetting. They've seen the hollow ones, the former members who clawed their way out, only to wander the world as ghosts, aching for a knowledge they can no longer grasp. But to stay, to let the thing inside them unfurl fully? Their hands shake. The knife is cold. And then, a voice, their own and not their own, whispering from the back of their skull. You were never meant to leave. The choice, in the end, is no choice at all. The protagonist reaches out. Does the hand that lifts the blade belong to them? Does the mouth that drinks the dark? The candles snuff out. When the light returns, the circle is empty. Only the knife remains, balanced on the edge of the goblet, its blade clean. Somewhere, a door creaks open. Somewhere, a shadow steps into the world. The world goes on, as it always does. The university's halls still echo with the hurried footsteps of students who do not look up, do not notice the way the shadows cling too long in certain corners. The library's oldest books still sit undisturbed on their shelves, their spines unbroken, their secrets untouched by most. No one remembers the protagonist, or rather, they remember a version of them, a quiet student who left abruptly, a half-finished thesis abandoned on a desk, a name murmured in passing but never dwelled upon. There are no missing posters, no frantic searches, just a vacancy easily filled. But sometimes, in the dead hours between midnight and dawn, a figure can be seen moving through the empty streets. Their steps make no sound. Their face, when glimpsed beneath a flickering street lamp, is both familiar and strange. The same features, but sharper, as though something beneath the skin has been rearranged. Their eyes are the worst part, not because they are inhuman, but because they are not. They are painfully, terribly human, just not the same human they once were. In a locked room deep beneath the city, a new recruit kneels before the Black Vein Society. Their hands shake. Their breath comes fast. The elder steps forward, their voice a whisper of dry pages turning. You were expected, they say. And somewhere, in the darkness between heartbeats, something smiles. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.